Good morning, or good afternoon, maybe good evening. Welcome to the Kindness Code from wherever you're coming from. They say every bird is looking for a worm. No, actually, every bird is looking for happiness, right? We are looking for happiness. No, we are looking for joy. And they say joy is when a tiny little bird sings a big sweet song. So that's what you're going to hear. Big sweet song from a tiny little bird. It's all about mindfulness. The joy in this moment. I know you have heard this many times. But today, it's going to be entirely different. Let's start that beautiful, lovely story about mindfulness. The joy in this moment. How do you make pudding? It needs ingredients. It needs water, it needs flour, it needs sugar, it needs eggs. Sometimes it needs chocolates, right? Our body and mind is like a machine. Imagine a pudding maker. So the pudding maker makes pudding, right? Pudding is so tasty. It's delicious. We all like pudding. Then we mix them. We place them inside a pudding maker. And we bake them. Then we get a tasty pudding. Pudding making machine has few different things, such as heater, timer, and few other elements. How do we relate this machine with us? See, I have 6 senses. See, I'm breathing now. I'm tasting using my tongue. I see things through my eyes. I hear sounds through my ears. I feel sensations through my body. And even I can think using my mind. We all know simplicity has a finer meaning. Our complex world today makes it harder for us to remember it. Because we are so busy making puddings. Then why are we not happy with this pudding making process? We are not happy, right? That's why you are here. I learned something about it. That's what I'm trying to share with you. And that is why we both are connected here in this very moment. So this sharing is called dana in Buddhism. Okay, then what are we sharing here? We are sharing simplicity. Simplicity in what? Simplicity in pudding making process. So before we go into the simplicity, I still like to share another aspect of why we are losing the insight into this pudding making process. On one hand, we have inner drive not to be satisfied. We always want more. So we are busy making more and more. We find satisfaction in making more. In Buddhism, we call it tanha, greed. Then also we find dissatisfaction because the moment we make the pudding, we get excitement, but the very next moment we lose that excitement. Then we dislike losing that excitement. In Buddhism, we call it dvesha, aversion. So we like one moment, then we dislike the very next moment. We like the pudding, we dislike the pudding. We like the pudding, we dislike the pudding. We like the pudding, we dislike the pudding. Then not knowing this liking and disliking process is called moha, delusion in Buddhism. We are ignorant that we are the pudding maker. We are ignorant that I am the one who dislikes this pudding, which was created by none other than me. So this lobha, dvesha, moha keeps us going through a never-ending treadmill. Then, then there's another phenomenon is working parallelly here. It's called Upachaya, Santati, Jarata, Anattata. There's a birth, the beginning, the growth, decay, and the end. So the birth, growth, decay, and end, this process, this cyclic process, keeps going alongside this pudding making process. While the pudding is going through this process, ironically, even the pudding making machine is going through the same process of birth, growth, decay, and the death. So there is a conflict here. We don't mind that pudding going through this birth and death cycle, because we know when we are making a pudding, we get excited. When we recognize pudding is losing its life, we seize it as an opportunity to make a new one. So we keep enjoying making puddings more and more and more. Puddings, 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 puddings. But then there's an inner process happening inside the pudding maker. The birth, growth, decay, and death. This is where we lose our excitement now. This is where we get scared now. This is where we start hanging into the hope, wrapped with suspicion. Suspicion of there is something. There is something. There is something. But I don't know what is that something. That simplicity is what we have lost here. The sight of simplicity, what we have lost. That is what, my friends, I'm going to share with you now. What I have discovered in my journey through education, through building enterprises, traveling around the world, associating with cultures, and going back to monasteries in the jungle. And born to discover and teach us that there's a path to get away from this trap. That path is called Ashtangika Marga, Eightfold Path. Through this Eightfold Path, we can recognize the way how the pudding and the pudding maker becomes one. And that one becomes nobody, called Anatta. So in this very moment, all these events are happening. The pudding maker and the pudding, they are birth, growth, decay and death. All are happening in this very moment. So by being mindful, we can observe this process. That is where the magic begins. The moment you recognize this process, you learn how to live with this process. The more you understand this, the more you become the taster of the pudding rather than the maker of the pudding. That is the beauty of the Buddhism. In this moment, you can recognize you are a gifted individual born into this rich world. The world full of so many rich and refined things, the tastes, energies. You can enjoy the beauty and the brilliance of these refined forms presented by nature. The sunshine, the rain, butterflies, sound, all these are forms of tastes in this world, in this very moment. So that understanding not only nourishing you, it helps you to reach the oneness between the pudding and the pudding maker. We call it Sati, Samadhi and Prajna in Buddhism. Sati is where mindfulness begins to play and recognize these micro elements playing behind this pudding making process. Then the Sati leads you to the state of Samadhi. This is the unique state where you're not making puddings anymore, but you're enjoying the raw material. Much tastier than the pudding, my friends. That is the beauty of it. That is the beauty of Buddhism. In that place, you're not getting tired because you're not making puddings anymore. You recognize the ingredients of the pudding is much tastier than the pudding. This is the simplicity. So there is nothing for you to dislike here. So there is nothing to be greedy, no aversion. In the absence of greed and aversion, you are fully aware of the moment. No delusion exists here. In this very unique moment, you gain prajna, the wisdom. The wisdom enables you to recognize the pudding making process, the existence and the non-existence, the birth, growth, decay. So the impermanent nature of the pudding and the pudding maker. In this realization, you won't get scared of it because you realize this is the nature of it. You accept it as it is, and you also recognize the beauty of it, the joy in the realization of Satya, the true nature of existence. At this point, you may feel empowered by the realization, this continuous process of existence and non-existence. So this is the manifestation of Sati, Samadhi, Prajna. For you to start building into Sati, Samadhi, Prajna, you need the support of another important constitute called Shraddha. Your willingness to learn, willingness to explore, and more importantly, your belief and reverence in the Lord Buddha and his noble teachings. And then your effort, virya, to understand the pudding and the pudding maker. So this is the journey of Ashtangika Marga, Eightfold Path. Your new paradigm is born right now, my friends. This is the beauty of sharing, dana. The new paradigm, that's the pursuit for me, shall not be making puddings, but cultivating awareness into this very moment, and to develop awareness to recognize that the pudding and the pudding maker are just one for this paradigm. It's called Sammaditthi. To sustain this paradigm, Sammaditthi, one has to develop Samma Sankappa, right thought process, then words and right action, Samma Vacha and Samma Kammanta. Then comes Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. Your entire life has to be designed around this process of living in this moment, recognizing the pudding and the pudding maker. Trust me, you can do that while being busy individual in this busy complex society, while being responsible as a father, as a mother, as a child, or as a grandparent. You don't need to get into ropes to do this. I have done this. I have done this while being a busy man traveling around the world, building enterprises, while also being a dedicated father to 3 lovely daughters and a caring husband to my lovely wife. So you can do this. Then here comes the Samma Vayama, right effort. You need to develop right effort to recognize where to put your energy and where not to put it. This leads to the most beautiful thing called Samma Sati. We learned about Sati before. This is Samma Sati, the sustained mindfulness, the more matured form of it. And then Samma Samadhi, the true meditative journey, the enlightenment. This is the journey explained by Lord Buddha. You know why Prince Siddhartha departed the palace, crossed the river Neranjana, and sat under a tree in the thick jungle. He discovered the joy under the tree, not in the palace. It was a long journey, very long journey. But we know every journey begins with one single step. One single step. So today, I'll give you that single step for you. You'll find a link in the description below. It's called Inner Voice Meditation. It's a 7-minute webinar rolling out every 15 minutes. So listen to that and enjoy that as much as you want. If you feel like going further, you have two paths. Sign up to our Kindness Code YouTube channel or Facebook page. And also, you have the other option, that is to sign up to our Kindness Road. That's a subscription-based tool where it would help you to build up your mindfulness day by day. And every penny you spend on Kindness Road contributes to the charitable work, a large charitable work serving hundreds of thousands around the world through YouTube and the Facebook. So, our mission is to share the wisdom of loving kindness. See you soon.